Two of the best in the West have made their way to Conway. The premier power in the state for more than a decade, the Bentonville Tigers, in familiar territory as they try to add yet another title to their already storied program history, while Springdale Har-Ber looks to write a new ending to what has already been a fairy tale season. It's the 6A State Softball Championship on Arkansas PBS Sports. Welcome into Forrest Field at Natalie Schock Stadium alongside the former Razorback, Sydney Parlee. I'm Dorian Kraft. Sydney, Bentonville and Har-Ber are two teams that know each other well, but are on opposite ends of the spectrum. For the Tigers, they're playing in their 10th state championship game since 2010. For the Wildcats, this is their first ever appearance in the final.
And Coach Austin has talked about his Har-Ber team. They are treating this game like veterans. And for Coach Kent Early, he talked about his team coming into today. They're loose, they're excited, and they're ready to have some fun.
Coach Austin has told us that he knew this was a state championship caliber team when they beat Rogers in the semifinal 5-4. And it always helps when you have a veteran at first base like Aniston Rice. She's committed to play collegiately at South Alabama.
And for Aniston Rice, she has 13 pumps on the season. She supplies the power at the plate for Har-Ber, and she just is the clutch hitter that steps up in the big moments.
On the other side of the field for Bentonville, they thought they were in line for a three-peat last year. They were undefeated until they ran into the buzzsaw that was Bryant in the semifinal. They have been gunning for this game the entire season. A big reason for that, Ryan Sanders in the circle. She will play at the next level at Louisville. She is one of the best pitchers, bar none, in the state.
And for Ryan Sanders, she is dominant, a dominant force in the circle. She's a pitcher that has a high strikeout percentage. She's gonna pump the ball in the strike zone, and when she gets ahead in the count, you're gonna have to hit her best pitch, which is her rise ball.
Bentonville and Har-Ber have already played twice this season. Both of those were Bentonville wins. That was a 1-0 win in Bentonville back on April the 1st. Just over 2 weeks later, the Tigers went on the road to Springdale, picked up a 4-1 victory, but both coaches believe this one may play out a little differently. As we take a look at the Har-Ber Wildcats batting order, Zaria Palmer leading things off, the second baseman, Savannah Woods shortstop hitting second. There's Aniston Rice in the 3-hole. Xiomara Sanchez, the freshman, she belted a 2-run homer in the quarterfinal game. Riley Wolf in center field, Kylie Burris at third base, Briley Bratcher, Jasmine Thomas, and Chloe Maudlin rounding out the starting line for Har-Ber as we are set to get underway here at Ferris Field. First pitch on the way. And a first pitch ball low from Sanders.
And for Ryan Sanders, what Har-Ber can expect, seeing her for the third time now this season, she likes to work east to west with a very sharp spin screw curve mix. She sprinkles in the off speed, and today she's going to heavily rely upon her rise ball.
Palmer takes a called strike on the outside corner to even the count at 1-1. And Sanders has been the workhorse in the circle for Bentonville this year. 21-3 on the season, 115 innings pitched. Skied, it'll stay on the infield as the third baseman Taylor Crisp under it to record the first out.
And just right there in that at bat against Palmer, Sanders worked lower in the count. She worked lower in the zone with her screw and curve, and then once she got ahead in the count, she utilized that rise ball to get a fly out.
Stepping to the plate is Savannah Woods. Woods, the sophomore, takes a called strike. It's going to be really important for Sanders to work ahead against Har-Ber, especially because, Sydney, it's so difficult when you're facing a pitcher for the third time in the season.
Absolutely. They already know what she's going to bring, but it's all about adjustments. Sanders understands the way that Har-Ber's going to attack her, and then just vice versa with the Har-Ber.
That ball driven deep out to left field, but foul into the bullpen beyond left field. That is a loud strike, but a good sign for Har-Ber.
Then that shows right there with Har-Ber. We talked with Coach Austin before the game, and he talked about the adjustments they're going to make offensively against Sanders. This rise ball is up and in, and for Woods, she gets her barrel up and out to it and stays through it. She would have caught that a little bit earlier. I think that would have been a fair ball.
0-2 stays low and out. Good pitch there from Sanders with the pitcher's count. Savannah Woods hitting .333 on the season, 31 hits. 6 doubles, 2 home runs. 1-2 at the knees, just low.
That is a close pitch on a 1-2 count.
But both coaches talked about not extending the zone early on in the game. You have to take a little bit. You never want to be caught looking, but you have to feel what the called strikes are going to be that day. 2-2, off speed, smack over to the right side. Crisp over to first in time. And quickly 2 away here in the top of the first.
And that's one thing that Coach Kent early talked about before the game. He talked about his hitters getting in the box and really staying honed in on the strike zone and not expanding the zone. Not okay with strikeouts, but being okay with taking those balls that are off the plate.
Crisp has already gotten 2 balls at third. It's Sanders in the circle. Lorenick behind the plate. Kolka at first. Bellamere at second. Kylie Wyman, the freshman, at shortstop. Crisp at third, and left to right across the outfield, Donahoe, Turner, and Gianeschi. Anderson Reith took a first pitch strike. Off speed, swings through the offering. It's 0-2.
And that off-speed pitch by Sanders is so deceptive. Right out of the hand, it's hard to pick up off speed.
Sanders trying to work a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the first. The pitch stays outside. Reith, only 1 of 2 returners on the season coming into this year for Har-Ber. 1-2, off speed, swung on and missed as Sanders caps the top of the first with a strikeout. We head to the home half of the inning. Still no score. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
During the past year, we've been traversing the natural state with our cinematic drone from lakes and rivers, waterfalls, scenic byways, mountains, swamps, overlooks, and towering rock formations. This unique documentation of all 4 seasons from all 4 corners of the state with an aerial cinematic perspective will give you, the viewer, an Arkansas adventure like never before, exploring Arkansas from above.
Download the PBS video app or watch online.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car to your first home, to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
Welcome back to Ferris Field. Early on here in this 6A state championship game between Har-Ber and Bentonville as the Tigers come to bat in the home half of the first inning. No score yet on the board in the circle. The freshman for the Wildcats, Sierra Dotz, she is one of the bright young talents in the state.
And that she is. And for Bentonville, what they can expect from Sierra Dotz today is she's going to work through all 4 quadrants of the zone. She's going to keep the ball in the lower half with her screw and curve, occasionally working her rise ball, drop ball mix.
Dotz has had success against Bentonville earlier this year. Had a 10 strikeout performance in a game against the Tigers. 10 strikeouts limited Bentonville to just 5 walks. As we are underway, first pitch strike catches the outside corner to the leadoff batter, Kylie Wyman.
And she's the type of pitcher that she has some velocity behind her ball, but she is extremely spinny. Her ball is very deceptive.
Dotz benefiting from that tall stature, gets the whip action as she comes through the 0-1. In off with a hand, a little flare, just finds some space beyond the outstretched hand of Woods. Nearly a fantastic grab, but it's Bentonville with first base runner.
And for Kylie Wyman, being the leadoff hitter, finding a way to get the job done. This is in on her hand. She gets jammed, but has just enough power to lift it into left field. And she does exactly what she's supposed to do in that one spot, and what she's done the entire season. She's been the spark plug for the Bentonville Tigers.
The lefty Demi Donahoe standing in. 363 average. Shows bunt, pulls back on the rise as it's taken high. Wyman, Donahoe, and Turner, the first three due up with the runner on. Lorenich will come to bat in the 4th spot. 1-0. Catches the outside corner, 1-1.
That is a great screwball on the outer part of the plate. And what we can expect to see from Dots facing the Bentonville Tigers is she's going to consistently work away from these hitters.
1-1. Shows bunt. And just off the outside corner is Bentonville showing a lot of patience early on.
Absolutely, and that's what makes Bentonville so good. Outside of the power that they supply, they have extremely good plate discipline, and that's something that Coach Kent Early talked about, is getting in the box, taking the pitches that are on the river, and really making Dots bring it in through the zone.
2-1 stays outside, runner not on the move, as that is 3-1 now to Donahoe. The theme for Bentonville, they wanted to strike early. That is their bread and butter. Put on the offensive pressure early and just keep the pedal down. 3-1, tapped through the left side. Back-to-back hits for the Tigers to start things off here in the bottom of the 1st inning. That one just past Burr at 3rd base.
And this is the precedent that you want to set, you know, bottom of the 1st inning, getting 2 singles back-to-back, moving just station to station. That's how you want to start the state championship game off.
Softball has been trending so much like the game of baseball. The power numbers, you see the slugging percentages going up, but station-to-station softball is still a very effective way to win games. As Amber Turner, the 3-hole hitter, takes the ball off of the outside corner. Turner, the senior center fielder, has been an integral part of this Bentonville team that won state titles in 21 and 22. Big cut there.
That was a
3-run home run cut.
That is a home run swing all day long. And to talk about the talent that Bentonville has, for Amber Turner, she's committed to Tulsa, and you've got a lot of girls in this Bentonville lineup that are going to play at the next level.
Golden Hurricane, a very good program out of the American, as Turner lifts it down the right side. It'll stay in play. Catch is made by Maudlin. And the runners tag and advance. As Bentonville moves runners to 2nd and 3rd with 1 away here in the bottom of the 1st inning.
And talking about moving station to station, Turner, that was a great piece of hitting right there, driving the ball to right field. Good play by Maudlin in right field, but she got the job done. Good situational hitting to move the runners up and to get them further into scoring position.
And it puts 2 in scoring position for Alexis Lorenich, the freshman, who has done damage. Bentonville, so much focus this year as that ball stays off of the outside corner, 1-1. So much has been put on making it back to the state championship game. They were undefeated last year until they ran into Bryant in the semifinal. Coach Early said it wasn't supposed to happen, but it did, and so many of these players, they remember that feeling. They want to come back, capture this title here on this field. 2-0 stays outside, 3-0 now.
And you know, Dorian, it's truly a game like that is a game that gets you to where you're at today. It's a game like that where you know, still have that taste in your mouth of what that felt like. And just to grind to get back to a state title game.
3-0. High and out, and now the bases are loaded, and this already feels, Sydney, like a key moment in this game, an inflection point. Bases loaded for Bentonville, only 1 away here in the bottom of the 1st.
You know, it's what Bentonville does. It's what's been their bread and butter of this program for year after year after year. And it's why they've had the success that they've had, is because offensively, they apply pressure to other teams. They dig in and they find a way to get runners on base and just to apply that pressure.
Courtesy runner in for Lorenich, that is Haley Hill on first base as Coach Austin is out to talk to his team. Now, Coach Austin has been here before. He may be in his first year at Har-Ber, but he took Farmington to multiple state finals. Has three state championships with the Lady Cardinals, one in 2000, 2005, and a 4A title in 2011.
And to talk about 9 state title games in 25 years of coaching at Farmington, he is the most winningest coach in Arkansas history at 615 career wins.
Bases loaded, first pitch. Catches the outside corner for a called strike against Annalie Kolka, the first baseman. Oh, 1 lifted, fouled back into the screen.
And for Annalie Kolka, she is a hitter in this Bentonville offense that is really good with runners in scoring position, batting .356 with runners in scoring position.
Kolka 30 RBI on the season. Would love to pick up 31 and 32 here. The 0-2 off the outside corner. Good 0-2 pitch. And Cindy, Coach Austin has said his team was loose, but you can't help but maybe feel a little nerves in this situation. Your first time ever being in a state final. The 1-2 just off the outside corner, and you can see Dot, she's used to getting that corner call. The body language, she really wants to command the corners, especially the outside against this powerful Bentonville offense.
And you can tell that she's frustrated not getting the call, but Coach Kent early talked about his offense not going for that pitch early on in the game.
2-2 lifted. On the edge of the infield, runners will have to stay put. And Har-Ber dodges a bullet for now. Still not out of the inning, but 2 away as it brings to the plate Marissa Gianeschi.
And for Sierra Dodds, that is a huge moment with the rise ball on the outer part of the plate to Annalie Kolka. With bases loaded, that is a big-time pitch, being ahead in the count and finding a way to execute.
Gianeschi 244 on the year, 19 hits, 6 of those have been doubles. As the first pitch stays outside. You really get a feel for how Dotts is trying to work this Bentonville lineup, really trying to establish that outside corner. But you're right, Sydney, in the first inning for pitchers and hitters, it's all about finding what the zone is going to be. The 1-0, a little bit more inside. That one does catch the black.
And you know, as we talk about making adjustments throughout the game, for Sierra Dotts, she is living on the outer part of the plate against the left-handed and right-handed hitters in this Bentonville lineup. And I have to presume as the game goes on, she's going to start working it, you know, back towards the middle inside part of the plate.
Didn't get the call there as the count 2-1 in favor of the Tigers right fielder. Bentonville started off with back-to-back hits off of the bat of Wyman and Donahoe. Lorenich was able to draw a walk. The 2-1 fouled right back into the netting.
And it's a great pitch combo that Dotts is working with right now, utilizing that curveball on the outer part of the plate as well as the low rise ball that she throws.
Dotts, the freshman, 1 strike away from getting out of a jam. 2-2. Off the end of the bat, foul. Bentonville trying to strike first here in the bottom of the first inning. Bases are loaded, the 2-2. Taken on the outside corner, strike 3. Chloe Dotts works out of a first inning jam. She strands 3 Tigers runners as we head to the top of the second inning, scoreless. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Arkansas PBS needs to add 2,500 new members by June 30th. If we succeed, we receive a gift of $45,000. We are just over halfway there, but with less than 2 months remaining, we need your help. If you're already a member, thank you. If you're not, your donation moves us one step closer to that $45,000 gift. Visit myarkansaspbs.org and donate today.
Looks like we have some new help in the marketing department.
Action! Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Buick GMC. I think you need to work on your line better. How about you do it? Family owned, customer friendly. Family owned, dog friendly. Come see us at Everett Buick GMC, I-30 at Alcoa exit. Buckle up, everybody!
We never gonna stop.
The Arkansas Department of Health is proud to support, spotlight, and celebrate Arkansas student athletes and Arkansas PBS Sports. Escape the vape. Learn more about the hazards of vaping at projectpreventar.org. Springdale Har-Ber and Bentonville still scoreless after one full inning here at Ferris Field at Natalie Schock Stadium. First pitch from Ryan Sanders taken low for a ball, and the Wildcats head coach Randy Osnes has to like what he saw from his team in the bottom of the first inning. A lot of grit from Har-Ber and their freshman pitcher, Chloe Dotz.
Talk about a lot of grit, but then also talk about how that just completely shifts the momentum. Softball is a game of momentum, and to bring that back to the dugout, get back on offense, that is a game changer and makes a huge statement just in the first inning.
Osnes, the state's all-time winningest coach, 615 career victories. Topped foul down the third base line. And if you're Har-Ber playing in your first ever state title game, there's probably no one else that you want on your side, save for maybe Kent Early over at Bentonville, than a coach like Randy Osnes, who's been there so many times, has the championship rings, has the experience, and has pretty much seen everything through his tenure at Farmington.
Absolutely, and it all starts with your coach. And when your coach has that experience and knows, what to expect, it definitely eases the nerves a little bit.
1-2 taken low for a ball.
One thing that I did think was quite interesting is Coach Osnes talked about Har-Ber and Bentonville both stayed at the same hotel overnight, and this morning he and Coach Early got to share a lot of great stories with one another over breakfast before today's game.
2-2. Just misses the outside corner as the count runs full to the Wildcat catcher, freshman Xiomara Sanchez, who is a pair of freshman in the battery for this Har-Ber team that has done big things. Had a 2-run home run in the semifinal against Cabot. 3-2. Line right back to the circle. Little screwball action as Sanders able to collect it for the first out.
And let's take another look at this swing and pitch. Up and in, rise ball gets her jammed, and I'll always love to see pitchers fielding their position.
So one away for Har-Ber in the top of the second inning. Riley Wolf standing in. Takes a first pitch ball as both pitchers really trying to find that outer part of the plate early on in this game.
And that's one thing that we could expect from talking to both coaches and how they were planning to attack the offenses is establishing the outer part of the plate, getting them to chase, get ground ball outs, and then adjust from there.
Big cut from Wolf, swung on and missed. Wolf hitting .367 on the season, 36 hits, 6 doubles, a triple, 3 homers. It's been a good season for the senior. The 1-1 from Sanders goes high on the rise. And it was the rise ball for Sanders that was really working in their quarterfinal game against Cabot.
And to talk about that game, Sanders threw a perfect game against Cabot with 14 strikeouts. And so to talk about the rise ball as well as it was working, that just shows.
I misspoke, it was Conway. Cabot was Har-Ber. But yes, Sanders really utilizing that rise ball against Conway. And if it's working, why not go away from it? But the thing for quality pitchers is you also have to learn as you progress in your career. The 3-1. Lifted, foul, and out of play. You have to learn how to diversify your pitches and what you can go to if your best pitch isn't working that day, and that's something that really sets Ryan Sanders apart from a lot of the pitchers in the state.
No, absolutely. With the experience that she has and just how good she is on the mound and the ability to, like you just said, Dorian, to be able to diversify her pitches and to utilize her rise ball early on and deep into counts, as well as her off-speed pitch and her screw curve mix, it just shows what she has in her arsenal and how every pitch is a quality pitch.
The 3-2 offering fouled back for the second time. Har-Ber still looking for their first base run of the afternoon. 3-2 swung on and missed. Sanders climbs the ladder for her second strikeout of the day.
And for Sanders, her rise ball is just dominant right now and hopping through the zone. It starts about belt high and ends up at the letters, just getting right underneath Wolf's barrel.
Kylie Burris, the senior, coming to bat now with 2 away here in the second inning. And with a pitcher like Sanders, when she's utilizing that rise ball as a hitter, Sydney, first pitch swung on and missed. What do you need to do to make the adjustment?
First of all, setting your hands up a notch higher. By keeping your hands up higher, you're working to attack the top part of the ball. It's also understanding that out of the hand, you're not swinging to where you see the ball starting out. You're meeting the ball to where it's going to end up. So ensuring that you're in that mentality of hitting a hard line drive, hard ground ball.
Just catches the outside corner for a called strike as the count now 0-2. Stays outside. Coming into this game, Ryan Sanders, 115 and a third innings pitched, 194 strikeouts on the season. That is the definition of high volume strikeout.
High volume strikeout. I said it at the beginning, and she is on pace to where, I guess knock on wood, but she could be at that 200 strikeout threshold by the end of her senior season.
Already 2 strikeouts here in this game, bringing the season total to 196. Opposing batters hitting just 174 against the senior. The 2-2. Called on the outside corner. Catches Burris looking. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the second. We go to the home half of the inning. Still no score here in the 6A championship. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
What makes a dairy bar different from other food establishments? Here in Arkansas, it describes a whole selection of restaurants we love. It's a location that serves ice cream, burgers, or hot dogs, some having been in existence 50 years or more. Come travel with me on a culinary itinerary of Arkansas dairy bars.
Download the PBS video app or watch online.
I'll do whatever it takes to protect my family, and part of taking care of them is using a bank that takes care of us. That's why I use Centennial Bank, a strong institution for an uncertain economy. I know them and I trust them. They have a strong financial foundation, which means that my money and our future is never in doubt. Life is busy, and there's plenty of things to worry about. My bank isn't one of them.
Centennial Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, through their 17 electric distribution cooperatives throughout Arkansas, is proud to support, spotlight, and celebrate Arkansas student athletes and Arkansas PBS Sports. For more information, visit aecc.com. Bentonville coming to bat in the bottom of the second inning. Tigers missed a golden opportunity in the home half of the first. They were able to load the bases with only 1 out. Could not push a run home. A big reason for that, the pitching of Sierra Dots inside the circle. Got a strikeout looking to get out of the jam.
And one thing that I loved about Sierra Dots, outside of the grittiness that she showed last inning, but what I loved is she did not shy away from continuing to attack that outer part of the plate. On some of those pitches, she wasn't getting the strike called. It would be easy as a pitcher to shy away from that, start throwing the ball more towards the heart of the plate. But I love the fact that she did not shy away from it.
Dots able to get quickly up in the count. 0-2 on Taylor Crisp. Misses off the outside corner. Crisp, the sophomore third baseman, already been involved defensively, made a couple of good plays to start things off in the top of the first inning. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Dots goes upstairs to get the K.
And a great pitch combo by Sierra Dots, just living with that curveball on the outer part of the plate, and then to utilize her low rise ball up and in on the hands of Crisp. That was a great two-pitch combo.
Back-to-back strikeouts now for Dots, as Ryan Sanders will look to help her own cause. Sanders takes a ball on the outside corner to start her at bat. We talked about pitchers fielding their positions. We love to see pitchers hit. We love to see multifaceted players, and it feels like, Sydney, and I know I played longer ago than you did, it feels like when I played, there were not pitchers that pitched and hit, and it's become more as that ball catches the inside corner with the screwball, but it's been more common over the last few years.
Yes, definitely it has grown where pitchers are two-way players. They're pitching and they're hitting. I know we see it on the high school level, even on the collegiate level, we're seeing it even more across the NCAA, and pitchers can hit too.
Big cut there from Sanders as Dots gets ahead in the count. .41 at bats on the year for Dots, 7 hits with a double. The 1-2, check swing, foul. How big is it for the confidence of Dots and a Har-Ber team that hasn't been here before to be able to work out of that first inning jam?
Oh, it's huge. And just being a freshman and never being in this moment before could have easily let the nerves, the moment, get out of hand, get bigger than what it was supposed to be. But her grittiness and how she dug in and competed, that just says a lot as to how competitive she is as a freshman. The numbers already stand out for themselves in the freshman campaign that she has, but that moment right there exemplifies who Dots is in the circle.
Foul, or fair play rather, as that ball skied. It'll stay on the infield over to second. Palmer is underneath it. Dots came into this game 19-6 on this season as we take a look at the third base line. And Coach Kent Early, he's had his team here multiple times. Again, these two coaches, between the two of them, over 1,000 career wins. Coach Early captured number 400 back in 2022. Has only added to that number since. First pitch strike called on the outside corner to Ava Stimmis.
And to talk about the success of 5 state title wins between the years of 2016 to 2022, I mean, that is stealthy right there.
On the ground to short. Woods over to first in time. 1, 2, 3 innings in the books. As we head to the top of the third inning, we are still scoreless here in Conway. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
I need you to say something. So pleased to hear that.
Finally, some good news. Some people spend a lifetime trying to find someone like you. This is a future we are more than happy to embrace.
I've never felt a love so strong in my entire life.
I promise you, this is something that they're not going to be able to ignore.
We loved it.
Attention sports enthusiasts, get ready to be amazed by Summerwood Sports Complex, the new state-of-the-art facility in Bryan. Our facility offers up to 4 courts spread across 2 spacious gyms, conveniently located off Interstate 30 in Bryan. Whether you're a team seeking tournament glory or an individual looking to elevate your skills, Summerwood Sports has got you covered. Discover more about our cutting-edge facility and check availability at summerwoodsports.com.
Support for Arkansas PBS Sports comes from Wendy's. Wendy's Cinnabon Pull-Apart and Vanilla Frosty Cream Cold Brew, available today at participating U.S. Wendy's. Well, certainly don't need any extra caffeine to get up for this game. It has been a good one so far between Har-Ber and Bentonville. No score yet in the top of the third inning. Har-Ber still looking for their first hit of the game. Bentonville got a pair on via a single and then had a walk to load the bases in the home half of the first inning before Har-Ber worked out of what could have been a big-time opportunity for the Tigers. First pitch, swinging strike to Briley Bratcher. It's Bratcher, Thomas, and Maudlin due up for the Wildcats here in the top of the third. That one lifted over to the right side. Tracking back is Gianeschi. She makes the grab for the first out of the inning. Jasmine Thomas, the designated player. 30 at-bats on the year, hitting .500 on the season. 15 hits, a pair of doubles, a home run. Has scored 5 runs out of the 8 spot. Takes a first pitch screwball for a strike.
And that is some consistent production at the bottom of the lineup, and it's been something that the production of Har-Ber's offense throughout the progression of the season, 1 through 9, finding ways to get the job done, but the bottom of the lineup has been very effective in turning the lineup over back to the top.
0-1, lifted, foul, out of play. That's a conversation I always enjoy having with coaches, is lineup creation, because you have so many players in different spots where they mirror one another in terms of the skill set and the toolbox you want them to have, especially when you get down towards the bottom of the lineup. It oftentimes mirrors the top of the lineup and what those players are able to do. The 0-2. Outside for a ball. And Cindy, I know you know this well. I spent a lot of time talking to Razorbacks assistant coach Matt Michael about that, the statistical genius.
And that it is mind-blowing, the stats that he can come up with.
Well, it's mind-blowing, the strikeouts that Ryan Sanders continues to rack up. That is already number 4 on the afternoon, as she is inching closer to the 200 mark on the season.
And she is just pinpointing the curveball on the outer part of the plate and then working her low rise up and in on the hands of these Har-Ber hitters. Those 2 pitches, they are dominant pitches that is also going to play a part in her being effective at the next level.
Chloe Maudlin takes a called strike at the knees. Sanders has gone first pitch strike to each of the last 4 hitters. The 0-1. Line back up the middle, sneaks through. The Wildcats have their first hit of the afternoon. It's a 2-out single for Chloe Maudlin. Our umpires today here at Ferris Field, Justin Hudspeth behind the plate calling balls and strikes. That's a look at Ray Burwell over at first base, and Keith McKay rounds out the crew over at third. That turns the lineup over for Har-Ber. Zaria Palmer stands in 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Takes a ball low.
And for Zaria Palmer, throughout the progression of Har-Ber's season, being in the top of the lineup, she is that true triple threat. She has the ability to power slap, to display the short game, to get the base-to-base hits.
Palmer popped out to crisp at third to start off the game. 1-0. Stays upstairs, 2-0. Palmer, 384 on the year, 38 hits. Primarily a singles hitter, 34, does have 3 doubles and a triple. 2-0. Drop ball catches the bottom of the zone.
That is a great drop ball that starts right on the heart of the plate and just falls off the table.
Har-Ber trying to work a little 2-out magic here in the top of the third. 2-1. Tapped down the left field line, running out of room. Good effort there from Donahoe, but could not bring it in. So now Palmer standing in, 2-2 count, runner on first for Har-Ber. The pitch. Just misses the outside corner. Sanders definitely thought she got it. You could tell by the body language.
She wanted it. She wanted that strike called.
Well, she'll have to do it again. 3-2 count to the Wildcats' leadoff hitter. Here's the payoff. Lifted, shallow center field, calling for it is Turner. She has it. So Har-Ber picks up their first hit, but Sanders able to work around the 2-out single. We are still scoreless as we head to the home half of the third inning. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas.
Yeah, we are in the third.
We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car to your first home, to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Okay, so we need to make sure that we set the Har-Ber defense. We have not done that yet.
Let me take you for a ride.
After the first out said, we're going to set the defense. Okay. So I probably need to know what it is.
Do you want to? Well,
no,
you're not. My hand runnings.
Southern Loft is a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS Sports and our Arkansas student athletes. Located at 3155 North College Avenue, Suite 102 in Fayetteville. Southern Loft, a different kind of furniture store. For more information, visit mysouthernloft.com. 2.5 innings in the books here at Ferris Field at Natalie Schock Stadium. Still no score in the 6A state championship game between Har-Ber and Bentonville. Bentonville had the opportunity to strike first, could not get it done in the first. The lineup is turned over. Kylie Wyman, who led things off with a single. She advanced all the way to third, but was stranded. Leads things off here in the home half of the third inning. Wyman, the freshman shortstop, an unlikely starter in the lineup this year for the Tigers. Off the end of the barrel. High hangs up for the out as Maudlin gets underneath it. Defensive alignment for Har-Ber today. It's Dots in the circle, the freshman battery Sanchez behind the plate. Around the horn, Reif, Palmer, Woods, and Burr over at third. Left to right across the outfield, Briley Bratcher, Riley Wolf, and Chloe Maudlin, who just made the grab. Outside corner, misses. Demi Donahoe also singled back in the first inning, slapped a seeing eye single through the 5-6 hole just past the glove of Kylie Burr. 1-0 from Dot stays high as the count 2-0 now.
And with the on-base rate that Kylie Wyman gets on base, with Demi Donahoe being in the 2 spot, being able to utilize and display her versatility as a slapper, she has shown throughout the progression of the season how she can get, if Wyman gets on, Donahoe is going to move her over with her slap game, the short game. They have been a great 1-2 combination at the top of the lineup.
Well, so often for so long you see that left-handed slapper hitter, but Cindy, in my opinion, and it may be yours as well, almost having it in the 2 spot is more important because you need to be able to move runners as the 2-1. Tapped into the turf. Throw not in time. Burr had to make an all-out effort, but will not get the speedy Donahoe over at first.
And that is a perfectly placed soft slap. And for Donahoe, with the speed that she has down the first baseline, let's take another look at this. She keeps her hands back, lets the ball get deep, and just drops her barrel on it. Could not be more perfectly placed.
With the pair of singles, Donahoe up to 35 hits on the season. And a runner on for the number 3 hitter in the lineup, Amber Turner, who moved both runners back in the first inning with a fly out to right field. Doesn't go down in the books as a sacrifice fly, but it works the same. The 1-0 to Turner. Down the center of the plate, lifted deep to center, but it will stay up for Wolf to get underneath it for out number 2.
And to go back to your point earlier, Dorian, about the slapper being in the 2 spot, let's take another look at this pitch by Dots. That low rise on the outer part of the plate. Turner is just a hair too early. She gets out in front of it, not able to get all of it, but still a pretty good piece of hitting. And for Riley Wolf in center field, way to track it down.
Dots doing a good job keeping these Tigers hitters off balance, but now she'll have to deal with Alexis Lorenich, the freshman, with 37 hits. And there's the runner on the move. Donahoe swipes second base to move into scoring position. So now Lorenich with a runner on second, an opportunity to pick up her 25th RBI of the season.
And for Bentonville, this is who you want to have at the plate with a runner in scoring position. She is batting .529 with runners in scoring position this season.
Lorenich, 10 doubles, 4 triples, 3 home runs on the year. Just let those numbers sink in for a freshman doing that kind of damage at this level. The 2-0 stays upstairs as Har-Ber has indicated they really want no part of Alexis Lorenich up to this point.
No, they have pitched around her in her last 2 at-bats. Everything has been up and off of the plate, not wanting to leave it on the heart of the plate.
Well, the best way if you're Bentonville to protect Lorenich in the order is the 3-0. Comes right down the center for a called strike, is to have Kolka behind her put together some hits and drive in some extra runs here in this game.
And in her last at bat, she put a good piece on a deeper fly ball.
Runner on second, 2 away, the 3-1. Off the outside corner for a ball, so Lorenich draws her second walk of the day.
And for Dots, that's with the way that Alexis swings the bat, that's not a bad thing to pitch around her, especially with 2 outs, looking to get a ground ball out and to get out of the inning.
Courtesy runner Haley Hill, the senior, will come back in to run for Lorenich. So it's Hill at first and Donahoe at second. Kolka takes a first pitch strike on the outside corner. Kolka popped out to second base in her first at bat. That was back in the first inning. That was the second out of the inning. Bentonville is in runners in scoring position in 2 of the first 3 innings. Have not found a way to strike yet as the count 0-2 now to Kolka.
And for me, you know, competing against Dots right now, I'm getting my toes on the chalk line, understanding that she's going to attack that outer part of the plate. I'm going to take away that side of the plate from her.
0-2. Dots tries to move it a little bit further outside. Good patience by Kolka. Kolka, the senior, hitting a .311 coming into today's game. The 1-2 on the way. Lifted towards the right side. It's going to hang up. Palmer calling for it in fair territory. Palmer makes the grab. So once again, Bentonville gets runners on. Cannot bring them in. 3 innings in the books. No score at Ferris Field between Har-Ber and Bentonville. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
When you choose Conway Regional, you're choosing a healthcare partner rooted in your community. With 9 primary care locations in 5 counties, we believe in building lasting relationships centered on trust and personalized care. Let our family care for yours.
Looks like we have some new help in the marketing department.
think you need to work on your line better. How about you do it? Family owned, customer friendly. Family owned, no friendly. Come see us at Everett Buick GMC, I-30 at Alcoa exit. Buckle up, everybody.
1, 2, 3, turn up! What's going on, man? Let's go!
Congratulations to our Arkansas PBS Student All-Star. For 6A, it is Stephanie Crittenden out of Bentonville West, the junior catcher with a 3.5 GPA on the year. And you will see her on this turf in a few years. She is committed to play softball at the University of Central Arkansas, coming to play for the Bears and head coach Jenny Parsons.
It's very exciting to get to stay in state and play for Coach Jenny Parsons, the UCA softball program, such a successful program.
Cindy, you and I talked yesterday and mentioned the fact that Coach Hoffman at Sheridan talked about the fact that the rise in high school talent starts directly with the collegiate programs in the state, Arkansas up in Northwest and then Central Arkansas over the last few years, establishing themselves as Savannah Woods takes a ball on the outside corner, establishing themselves as one of the premier mid-majors in the country.
Yes, absolutely. And with the success that Arkansas and UCA have had over the years, it just brings that much more excitement to the game of softball in the state. And for girls to have the dream to play in state for UCA or Arkansas.
Woods singles through the left side. Found a gap in the 5-6 hole. First time today that Har-Ber has been able to get a leadoff runner on. And so a pair of singles now for Har-Ber. They are starting to adjust to Ryan Sanders here over the last 2 innings.
They are adjusting to Ryan Sanders well. They are attacking earlier in the count when she is leaving that first pitch more in the heart of the plate. And that's what you've got to do offensively. You've got to attack early in the count and not let that first good pitch go.
Woods on first as Reith stands in. Reith struck out in her first plate appearance to end the first inning. Swings through the curveball on the outside corner. Reith, as we mentioned, committed to play for head coach Becky Clark down in Mobile for the South Alabama Jaguars, the number 2 seed in the Gainesville Regional this year.
Yes, and they are in the Gainesville Regional. That is so exciting that South Alabama had the season that they had and making it to the postseason.
Reith lifts it. It'll be behind the plate, but playable as it's snagged by Lorenich. First out of the inning as the runner has to stay put on first. Cindy, I got an opportunity to call the Sun Belt tournament last week in New Orleans. Got to see South Alabama. Lots of great softball going on in the Sun Belt. They got 3 teams in the tournament this year. The regionals are going on up in Northwest Arkansas. There is a lot to look forward to in terms of the sport of softball and women's sports as a whole as Sanders misses high and away.
The way that it's evolved and just the excitement between softball and the other women's sports that are out there, you just love to see it. And the thing that I love is just the amount of TV time. You can turn on ESPN at any time and watch some softball, some basketball.
You should have tried playing when I played. There was no TV coverage as the off speed tipped back, foul. Freshman Xiomara Sanchez, 375 average, 0 for 1 today, lined out to Sanders. That was back in the second inning. Woods, Reif, Sanchez, as she takes a called strike on the outside corner. Riley Wolf also coming to the plate this inning. And as this game goes on, Sydney, in this scoreless tie, who do you give the advantage to?
It has been a pitcher's battle. It has been a pitcher's game. And I don't know about you, I love offense, but I love a good pitcher's battle.
Listen, I love a good pitcher's duel. I love a low-scoring game, but it's one of those old adages, when you let a team hang around long enough, eventually they're going to take advantage. And if you take a look at the dichotomy of these two teams, for Bentonville, if you let Har-Ber hang around, eventually this feels like a game where just one hit's going to make the difference. Is that one lifted, foul out of play?
And it's that kind of game. Whoever makes the first mistake is going to give. And it's all about stringing together good hits, taking it one base at a time. And for me, it's put the ball on the ground and make the defense work.
That is something that Coach Early mentioned to us when we talked to him before the game, looking back at the first 2 matchups between the programs as the 2-2 fouled away. He felt that in those games, it was a 1-0 win and a 4-1 win, so close games, but he felt that his team really missed some early opportunities. They got bases loaded a couple of times, nobody out, couldn't push a run across, so they were expanding the zone. And we've already seen shades of that here in this game.
It's all about executing. When the runners get on, just digging in and finding a way to drive the ball.
2-2, taken low, a patient at bat from a freshman as she's able to work the count full. Sanchez and Dots, it is a bright future up in Springdale for this Wildcats program. The payoff, down the heart of the plate, lined out to right field, it gets down. Station to station softball, a pair of singles in the inning, and Sanchez and Woods now with Har-Ber, their first runner in scoring position.
And for Sanchez, just a good piece of hitting. She drops her barrel on it, and she stays through the outside pitch, doesn't rotate off of it, stays on it to line it to right field.
37th hit of the year for Sanchez. As Coach Honest has his team starting to believe in Coach Early coming out to the circle, so conversations on both sides.
We've already got conversations going, and for Har-Ber, 2 great singles already to start this inning off. Just good pieces of hitting, understanding that Sanders is going to attack that outer part of the plate. It's just getting her barrel to it and staying on it.
What's the conversation now for both of these coaches? As you see there on the split screen, Osnes on the left, Early on the right.
And for Osnes, it's attack the pitch when it shows up. For Kent Early and his defense, it's dig in, find a way, roll a double play. This is a moment that could really get out of hand. It could implode if you allow it. But with the defense that Bentonville has behind Ryan Sanders, it's making the routine plays right here.
Riley Wolf came into the game hitting .367, 36 hits, 19 RBI, first pitch swinging. That was a good hack.
And I'd say after a conversation from Coach Kent Early, that's a good rise ball to respond with.
Listen, as a batter, I always loved going after the first pitch after a conversation because you knew it was going to be close to the strike zone.
The same way. Irregardless, I was attacking first pitch strike.
Wolf pulls back the bunt attempt, but the curveball catches the outside corner, and now Wolf in an 0-2 hole. 2 on, 1 away here for the Wildcats in the top of the 4th inning. Har-Ber trying to strike first in their first ever state title appearance. The 0-2. 3 straight pitches to retire Wolf as Sanders paints the outside corner. Now 1 away from 200 strikeouts on the season.
And for Sanders, the confidence just shows. Getting 2 runners on, no problem coming in with the curveball on the outer part of the plate to get the strikeout looking by Wolf.
5th strikeout of the day for Ryan Sanders. Not out of the woods yet. Sanders' first pitch. That's a good curveball there for the Louisville commit.
Her curveball is so sharp. Her curveball and rise ball has such sharp, precise spin. And the ability to be able to pinpoint glove side and arm side on the plate, that is what is Sanders' bread and butter.
And Sydney, I think a lot of people watching think of curveball. They maybe think of a baseball curveball that has a lot of breaking movement, but in softball, you can have multi-planal movement, and it's the micro movements that sometimes are more difficult to hit.
Oh, absolutely. When it has just that very late, sharp break side to side.
0-1. Just off the outside corner, count even. Burris struck out looking to end the second. Har-Ber with 2 runners on, a pair of singles off of the bat of Savannah Woods and Xiomara Sanchez. 1-1, swung on and missed. Sanders really bearing down here.
You can see it in Sanders, just that competitive edge that she has and what she brings, the energy to this Bentonville Tigers team.
Sanders, the 1-2, popped on the infield. Who wants it? Little miscommunication, but it is Wyman that grabs it, so the Wildcats get 2 on, but Sanders able to stem the tide. We go to the bottom of the 4th, no score. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Southern Loft is a proud sponsor of Arkansas PBS. It is our mission to tell your story by adding color with our furniture. And that's why Southern Loft is a different kind of furniture store. For more information, go to mysouthernloft.com.
I'll do whatever it takes to protect my family, and part of taking care of them is using a bank that takes care of us. That's why I use Centennial Bank, a strong institution for an uncertain economy. I know them and I trust them. They have a strong financial foundation, which means that my money and our future is never in doubt. Life is busy, and there's plenty of things to worry about. My bank isn't one of them.
Centennial Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We never gonna stop.
Conway Regional Health System is proud to support, spotlight, and celebrate Arkansas student athletes in Arkansas PBS Sports. Since 1921, Conway Regional Health System has provided complete health care services to the growing communities of North Central Arkansas. For more information, visit conwayregional.org. Bottom of the 4th inning. Giannishi, Crisp, and Sanders due up for the Tigers. No score yet after Bentonville stranded 2 on in the bottom of the 3rd inning. They've had 5 runners on. 3 of them have been in scoring position, have not yet pushed across a run, as these 2 teams that have already faced off twice this season battle here in the 6A state title. 2 balls to the leadoff hitter for Bentonville.
And I'm going to say, Dorian, as this game starts to unravel, and with the pitcher's duel that we have between Dots and Sanders, strongly feel as though small ball, there hasn't been many moments already in the game, just given with runners, you know, and outs in scoring position, but small ball is going to have to play a factor at some point.
Giannishi swings through the curveball for the first strike. If there is a team that's more suited to playing small ball, is it Har-Ber or is it Bentonville?
You know, Har-Ber has more lefties in their lineup to be able to display the small ball. I think both teams are very capable and are teams that do utilize small ball.
Well, Bentonville has been known for their power numbers over the last few seasons, 25 home runs coming into this game. And Coach Early was joking with us. He said, you know, we're more accustomed to hitting 25 more.
And that they are, with the power that they have at the plate and the well-decorated players that they have in this lineup.
2-2. Cue ball it off the end of the bat, foul. Oh, Cindy, I know you remember playing Bentonville in a state final game years ago. Sorry to bring up the bad memories.
And in that game, even in, let's see, what was it, 2016, they still displayed the power. So, and it's just the extra base hits. You talked about the 25 homers, the 13 triples, the 68 doubles. It is extra base hits for this Bentonville team.
That championship in 2016 for the Tigers, the first of 3 in a row. They would win it in 17 and 18. They made the final in 2019. Full count, 3-2. As Dots walks the leadoff batter outside of the intentional walks to Lorenich. That is the first freebie issued by Dots.
And for Giannishi, that is a solid at-bat, being very disciplined, not expanding the zone. And in this game, more times than not, when the leadoff hitter gets on, you're going to find a way to score. And right here, it is all about digging in and executing.
You sacrifice with Crisp here?
Absolutely.
Taylor Crisp 0 for 1, struck out looking, does show bunt, pulls it back, and called a strike on the outside corner. Crisp can't believe it.
And one very good point that Coach Kent Early talked about when we were talking before the pregame, he said that his team's motto, what he wanted their motto to be going into this game, is that Ryan Sanders has carried them to this point. Now let the offense carry Ryan Sanders.
Talked about carrying Sanders, giving a little bit back to her so she didn't have to be perfect all the time, but he also talked about being a little bit more aggressive. He thought in prior games against Har-Ber, they were a little passive when they got ahead in the count. 3-1 counts, 3-0 counts, weren't looking to maybe strike on what is a hitter's pitch. Needing to make something happen here in the bottom of the fourth. Taken as a ball outside. Crisp, 321 on the season. 1-1. Still not showing bunt as Dots continuing to work on the outside corner. Crisp does have a sacrifice bunt on the season. Moments getting tense between Har-Ber and Bentonville, bottom of the fourth. Off the outside corner, 3 straight pitches from Dots missing in the left-hander's batter's box with a runner on first. Dots in danger of walking back-to-back hitters.
And this is the time to hone it back in, center it back in, adjusting. She was utilizing her low rise ball, going back to that pitch, and a 3-1 count would be very, very effective.
There's the 3-1, stays high and out. And now Bentonville starting to feel it here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Runners on first and second, no one out. Ryan Sanders coming to the plate with a big RBI opportunity.
And this is the opportunity for Ryan Sanders to work both sides of the diamond for her team.
Xiomara Sanchez taking a moment to come out to talk to her pitcher, the 2 freshmen. Kent Early getting in a word to Ryan Sanders, his senior. We talked about teams on opposite ends of the spectrum. You really see that displayed in the circle. You have Ryan Sanders, the decorated senior, on her way to play in the ACC for the Louisville Cardinals. You've got Dots in the circle for Springdale Har-Ber, the freshman, the future of the Wildcats program. First pitch on the way, misses high. 4 straight balls now for Dots.
And outside of the back-to-back walks for Sierra Dots, she has been dialed in this game, being her first time in a state championship game, being a freshman. She has been dialed in and has displayed such grittiness.
1-0, rise ball misses high as Sanders showing a lot of patience here. Are you surprised at all that Early hasn't showed bunt with runners on first and second with no one out?
I am surprised. I am very surprised. Getting the good old small ball out, the old school way of laying down a bunt, getting a runner in scoring position, utilizing the sac fly.
2-0 count. Sanchez trying to frame behind the plate, count now 3-0. And all of a sudden, Sierra Dots cannot find the strike zone. And Bentonville waiting to pounce here in the home half of the fourth. Pitch catches the outside as Dots able to get a called strike. For all that we've talked about Sanders being a high-volume strikeout pitcher, so is Dots, 189 on the year, coming into today, and 141 in the third. Misses off the outside corner. 3 consecutive walks for the Tigers. The bases are loaded, nobody out. And in stands Ava Stivis. The hero of the game against Bryant belted a 3-run home run in the top of the 7th inning to seal the victory over the Hornets. We will get a courtesy runner over on first. That is number 12, the sophomore, Dev Weicker. As Coach Osnes out to talk to his infield, and this is the moment where you have the young team, Cindy, that hasn't been here before. This conversation is to make sure that everybody knows their defensive assignments if the ball's put in play.
Absolutely, and understanding we're going to squeeze in as an infield. We're going to keep the ball in front of us. The plate is at 4. And the other thing, too, is not, you know, being one play ahead, understanding when the ball is hit to you, what are you going to do with it? And then also, you know, just making sure that we're honed in and we're making good throws as well, not letting the ball get past us outside of us.
Sometimes as an infielder, this can make your job a little bit easier. Ball on the ground, you know your automatic play is to home. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. Outfield going to be drawn in as well. On the flip side, Coach Early, you have to imagine that conversation is do your job. Do not be caught looking. As the home plate umpire out to talk to Coach Osnes. Wanting to get the game back moving a little bit.
Get the game back moving a little bit. I think there was some side conversation on the strike zone, but...
Well, there is never a coach in the history of the game that hasn't wanted to have a side conversation about the strike zone.
Absolutely. And when you've been getting a pitch on that outer part of the plate and it's varying.
All that players and pitchers ask for are consistency for both sides and throughout the entirety of the game. Bottom of the fourth, Bentonville, bases loaded, no one out. Stimmis takes a called strike on the outside corner.
And that is a big response pitch by Dots after walking back-to-back-to-back batters.
Bentonville was able to load the bases in the first, could not push or run across. Lifted Stimmis to center field. Wolf is there, the throw home, cut off. And a smart play there by Reif as Bentonville off the bag. But Cindy, as a fielder, once you start to put that ball in play, you never know what's going to happen. A lot of times it's better to put it in the back pocket.
Absolutely, and for Riley Wolf in center field, coming in, getting her momentum to stay behind the ball, she was in a position to come up gunning. She was ready.
Doing her job defensively, that turns the lineup over. Kylie Wyman 1 for 2 today, singled in the first, flew out to right back in the third. Wyman was stranded on third base back in the first inning when the Tigers were able to load the bases. It was back-to-back singles for Wyman and Donahoe. 1-0, catches the black 1-1. Wyman 444. On base percentage of nearly 500, has a lot of pop in that leadoff spot. Coach said she's 100-0, 12 doubles, 5 home runs, 35 ribbies. Patient eye there off of the outside corner.
And being in the leadoff spot, she has had a lot of opportunity to drive in runs this season. We see it with the 35 RBIs, but the 563 with runners in scoring position. Not only does she get on base, but when it's time to have that clutch hit, that is Kylie Wyman.
Swings through the offering, 2-2.
And this is a moment. This is a moment, freshman to freshman right here.
Expect to see this matchup for the next 3 seasons between Sierra Dots and Kylie Wyman. The 2-2, lifted. Deep center field, Wolf is tracking back. That will be deep enough as Bentonville strikes first on the sacrifice fly.
And for Kylie Wyman, the excitement of finding a way to drive a run in for the Bentonville Tigers. Let's take another look at this swing. Outer part of the plate, she gets her barrel to it, and the extension on this swing, she just stays through extension. And the ability to drive it to deep center field. Pushes Ganeshi across.
Ganeshi scampering home, no chance for a play at the plate. And Bentonville with a chance to tack on here in the bottom of the fourth as Donahoe, who is 2 for 2 today, stands in, takes a first pitch strike on the inside. Runners on first and second still for the Tigers after a pair of walks, 3 straight walks, in fact, loaded the bases. Donahoe looks at a rise ball, count 1-1. Donahoe a pair of singles through the left side of the infield today. The pitch from Dots, line into right field, that ball is down. Station to station as the runner will hold at third. That is crisp. The bases loaded once again for the Tigers behind a 3-for-3 day by Demi Donahoe.
And for Demi Donahoe, speed always kills. Perfectly placed slap on the inside pitch, driving it to right field. She's seen the ball well all day. She has utilized all of her tools, displaying that she is that true triple threat.
Amber Turner standing in, 2 away, bases loaded here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Turner 0 for 2, a pair of flyouts, 1 to right, 1 to center. First pitch, swung on, fouled back. And if you're Har-Ber, this is the part of the order where you really need to be careful, because this is the power part for the Tigers. You have Turner, you have Lorenich, you have Kolka coming up. So it is imperative, if you are Dots and the Wildcats, that you get out of this inning before allowing another run to cross the plate. The 0-1 stays high and out.
And for Amber Turner in that state game against Conway in ITB, she is who stepped up with the 3-run homer to get them ahead and to secure the win against Conway.
That was a walk-off from Turner. ITB international tiebreak for those who aren't familiar. Takes a ball high and out. A hitter's count now at 2-1. Turner, .412 average, 40 hits on the year, would love 41. That ball misses high and out. This is one of those situations, Sydney, where a walk is as good as a hit, as Bentonville wants runs any way possible. Turner does have 11 walks on the season. The 3-1 from Dots. Off the outside part of the plate, Turner was hunting and the count is full.
He was hunting on a 3-1 count, and that is a hitter's count. We've seen dual adjustments from Bentonville so far in this inning. We've seen patience at the plate, and we've seen a lot more aggressive swings when the pitch shows up.
2 outs, full count, runners will be on the move. The payoff. Off the outside corner, called strike 3. Second time today that Bentonville has left the bases loaded and caught looking on a 3rd strike, but it's the Tigers that strike first with a sacrifice fly from Kylie Wyman. It is 1-0 Bentonville. We go to the top of the 5th. You are watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Vaping costs over $1,500 a year. So if you vape, there goes that new gaming system. Or that new mountain bike. Escape the vape. Learn more about the hazards of vaping at projectpreventar.org.
Attention sports enthusiasts. Get ready to be amazed by Summerwood Sports Complex, the new state-of-the-art facility in Bryant. Our facility offers up to 4 courts spread across 2 spacious gyms, conveniently located off Interstate 30 in Bryant. Whether you're a team seeking tournament glory or an individual looking to elevate your skills, Summerwood Sports has got you covered. Discover more about our cutting-edge facility and check availability at summerwoodsports.com.
We're past the halfway point here at Ferris Field. Bentonville finally pushing across a run in the bottom of the 4th inning, but it has been a strikeout fest, Sydney, between these 2 teams.
It has been a strikeout fest of 8 strikeouts amongst the 2 pitchers. Dots and Sanders have just been so precise in their pitch combos, working on the outer part of the plate, sprinkling in their low rises. They have both been so dominant, and we love a good pitcher's duel. Just take a look at that pitch, that curveball by Sanders. It's just so precise, and Dots again with her curveball. And then how about the 4th inning? It was Kylie Wyman finding a way to get the job done, driving a ball to deep center field to get the Tigers on board. And the excitement in a tense game like this.
Dots picking up a big strikeout to get out of the jam in the bottom of the 4th inning to leave the bases loaded. She has 3 strikeouts. Sanders with 5. She is 1 away from 200 on the season. As Har-Ber coming to the plate, trailing for the first time today is Bratcher, Thomas, and Maudlin due up for the Wildcats. Palmer would make it to the plate should anybody reach. The 1-0. Screwball called a strike at the knees.
And we've talked about Sanders playing on the next level. There's so much excitement in the ability to continue your career. And for Sanders choosing Louisville, she fell in love with the program, the coaches, the campus, the city. And when September 1st rolled around,
lined out to the outfield, left tracking on. That is Donahoe coming over to make the catch. Doing a little bit of everything today is Demi Donahoe. 3 hits, making a snag out there in left field.
We see you, Demi Donahoe, just doing it all on both sides of the diamond. That was a great read off of the bat to track down that line drive in left center field gap. Let's take another look at this. Solid swing by Bratcher. Very hard hit off of the bat, but the jump that Donahoe gets to secure the out in left center field gap.
My Kentucky native will not focus on the pronunciation of Louisville there. It's okay.
But she knew when September 1st rolled around, Louisville was her first choice. Took her official visit, committed that weekend, and now the rest is history.
She'll be a nice addition to a Cardinals squad that did not make the postseason this year in what has become a stacked ACC. Catches the outside part of the plate there for a called strike. Let me tell you, that conference has changed so much since I played in it, Sydney. The talent level is ridiculous. The 1-1 misses on the inside corner.
All of the conferences continue to get stronger and stronger. It's been very interesting to see the way that the conferences have shifted, the strength that the teams have, the competitiveness of the softball programs at different universities.
The 2-1 to Thomas, fouled down the right field line into the stands. Thomas 0 for 1 today, struck out in her only at bat. That was back in the 3rd inning. Har-Ber 3 for 16 today, going up against Ryan Sanders. The 2-2. Lifted off of the inner part of the bat. Tracking foul. Nearly a fantastic grab by Crisp going over the shoulder. But Thomas will live to see another pitch.
And for Taylor Crisp, it was a great drop step and first step that she took, tracking it all of the way. Just a little bit deeper angle, she would have been able to secure the grab.
Listen, Cindy, I can tell you that's a tough play to make. That ball is spinning away from you the entire time you're tracking it down. 2-2 off the outside corner, and that is the 200th strikeout of the season for Ryan Sanders.
And what a milestone. Congrats to Ryan Sanders, 200th strikeout on the season. That is huge.
Racking them up is Ryan Sanders. She is putting a stamp on what has been a stellar career at Bentonville.
And we talk about obviously the high strikeout rate that she has, and I think it's a testament to the high percentage of first pitch strikes that she throws.
Talk about first pitch strikes a lot, and it seems like such a simple thing that shouldn't make much of a difference, but it does because it allows the pitcher to dictate the rest of the sequence.
It sets the table.
First pitch ball to Chloe Maudlin. Off speed, dropped in. Haven't seen Sanders use that much today, but it was a beauty.
And that's the thing, we talked about it earlier in the broadcast, the ability that Sanders has to go to different pitches within her arsenal. And for so far throughout the game, she's utilized the screw curve mix.
Maudlin 1 for 1 today. She picked up the Wildcats' first hit back in the 3rd inning. It was a 2-out single back up the middle. But she was stranded after Palmer flew out to center. Maudlin, the senior, the 1-2. Put in play over to the right side. Slow roller, tossed over to first. And a 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Sanders and the Bentonville Tigers. They look to add on to their lead in the bottom of the 5th here at Ferris Field. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Many people will experience orthopedic or spine issues in their lifetime, and the pain that goes along with that can make you feel, well, like a shadow of yourself. At the new Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health, we are dedicated to providing Arkansans with a brighter future they deserve.
After years of dealing with extreme pain, thanks to visiting UAMS Health, I'm able to do things physically that I never thought I'd be able to do again.
Choose UAMS Health for a better state of health.
Want to see even more Arkansas stories? Subscribe to Arkansas PBS on YouTube for original productions, extras from your favorite local programs, behind-the-scenes videos, and our exclusive coverage of high school sports. All available on demand and all Arkansas made. Don't miss out on more great Arkansas stories. Subscribe now.
As the official orthopedics and sports medicine provider for Razorback Athletics, UAMS Health provides orthopedic care, sports medicine expertise, therapy, and support to athletic programs, organizations, and events across the state. UAMS Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, with conveniently located clinics in Central and Northwest Arkansas. Home half of the fifth inning, Bentonville holding on to a one-run lead. They were able to finally push across one in the bottom of the fourth on a sacrifice fly off the bat of the freshman Kylie Wyman. And it is the heart of the order coming up for the Tigers here in the bottom of the fifth. Lorenich, Kolka, and Giannishi. Lorenich, a pair of walks today, both of the unintentional, intentional variety. Took a first pitch strike from Dots. That one just off the outside corner, 1-1. Lorenich, just a freshman. So much like Wyman, expect to see this pairing continuing to play out in Northwest Arkansas and perhaps in the state championship or the state tournament over the next 3 seasons.
And both teams both young teams. You know, for Bentonville, they're girls, you know, who are going to go on to play at the next level, who are graduating, but it's just a few of them. Bentonville also is a very young team.
For Bentonville in the starting lineup, you have 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores. So 5 of your 9 in the starting hitting order are underclassmen. Bella Mears is playing second. She is the flex player for the Tigers, also an underclassman. So Bentonville, what's the old saying? You don't reload, or you don't, was it? I can't remember, as Lorenich goes down on strikes off of the outside corner. Big strikeout for Sierra Dots to start the inning. You don't rebuild, you reload. That would be the saying.
There you go. And Sierra Dots just carrying over from her last out of last inning, replicating the strikeout on the outer part of the plate.
Great look at it there from our camera crew here at Arkansas PBS Sports. Day 2 of action here at the University of Central Arkansas in Conway. First pitch strike off of the outside corner to Kolka. Kolka 0 for 2 today. A couple of balls put into play over to the right side. Soccer also in action today. Yesterday got started. Baseball and softball. Soccer is underway over at Estes Stadium on the Stripes.
And for Anna Lee Kolka, she will be continuing her playing career at Central Missouri. One thing that I love athletes that do things off of the playing field. She just finished up with the National Charity League, which she's been a part of since the 8th grade. It's a program for mothers and daughters to make lifetime impacts in a philanthropic way to promote human welfare, and just the ability to get immersed within the community and to give back, even at such a young age. I admire that so much.
When we talk about student athletes, especially when it comes to the classroom, but a well-rounded player as well. Well-rounded person as Kolka lifts it over to the right side. Tracking back is Palmer. Makes the grab. Zaria Palmer doing work over there on the right side of the field.
What a play by Zaria Palmer. Great first step, the drop step and the angle that she takes enables her to go and make this catch. Let's take another look at this. Right off of the handle, Zaria Palmer sprinting, pumping her arms. What a play.
That gives me nightmares of tweener practice from college.
The best is when it's being shot out of a machine.
We didn't do that. Ours got
the
naturally hit. I dislocated 2 ribs my freshman year doing that drill as the first pitch fouled away from Maria Janishi. Janishi, the only run of the game for Bentonville. She walked to lead off the 4th inning, came around to score on the sacrifice fly to deep center field by Kylie Wyman. The 0-1 stays outside, 1-1. And Dodds, after walking those 3 straight batters in the 4th inning, has settled back down significantly and has started to pound the strike zone once again. Outside part of the plate, popped on the infield. Easy play for Kylie Burr. 1-2-3 inning for the Wildcats. It is still a 1-0 Bentonville lead. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Today can be a new beginning.
Bright things ahead, darling. Brightness and joy.
That's genuinely classy.
I just want to be right here in this moment with you.
You set kind of a high bar.
I'm just getting started.
Television will never be the same again.
Magnificent.
For more than 50 years, Arkansas PBS has been a trusted resource. Our high-quality programs are seen by viewers in every corner of our state, making on-air sponsorship a solid investment. Aligning your business with Arkansas PBS offers a powerful blend of community engagement, corporate philanthropy, and cause marketing. And our viewers remember and appreciate businesses that support our programs. Contact us today for more information on sponsorship opportunities.
Let me take you for a ride on the baseline.
Let's go! Legion Scaffold is a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS Sports. Located at 1021 Hemlock Street in North Little Rock, visit legionscaffold.com for more information. Time getting late for the Har-Ber Wildcats. They are trailing Bentonville 1-0 in the top of the 6th inning. Top of the lineup due up for the Wildcats as Zaria Palmer, who made that fantastic snag down the right field line, stands in. Takes a first pitch ball from Ryan Sanders, who hit the 200 strikeout mark in the top of the 5th inning. Palmer 0 for 2 today, a pair of flyouts. Leaves that one up and out, 2-0. Talked about the youth on the Bentonville side, youth as well for the Wildcats. Palmer, one of 3 freshmen in the starting lineup, not including Sierra Dotts. 3-0 now as that one skips in the turf. And by my book, that is the first 3-0 count of the day for Ryan Sanders.
She has been pounding the zone early in the count. She's been getting ahead of the Har-Ber hitters.
81st pitch of the day for Sanders. Right down the pipe for a called strike. Prime opportunity for Har-Ber here if they want to even the score. 1-2-3 due up as the 3-1 off of the outside corner runs the count full.
And for Har-Ber, they have the momentum on their side. Dotts the previous inning, she eliminated further damage with bases loaded. The response last inning of getting 3 up, 3 down. The momentum is on Har-Ber's side.
The payoff pitch. Soft flare out into shallow left field. It drops for a leadoff single. And for the first time today, the Wildcats get the leadoff runner on. And check, that is the second time Savannah Woods singled back in the 4th inning.
Top of the 6th inning, this slap by Palmer. She gets her barrel out to it and just stays through it, slicing it to left field. That pop slap perfectly placed.
It brings up Woods, who is 1 for 2 today, grounded out to 5th, and then singled back in the 4th inning. Was stranded on 2nd. First pitch screwball called for a strike. We talked about small ball, Sydney, and how it could come into play in this game. If you are Har-Ber, do you play small ball here?
I do. I lay down the bunt, I move Palmer over, and with the speed that she has, a ball hitting the gap could be a run all day.
And it's an 0-2 count to the sophomore Woods. Aniston Wright standing on deck. And then the dangerous freshman, Xiomara Sanchez, who is 1 for 2 today, looming. 0-2 from Sanders. Just misses the outside corner. Good idea.
That's a great waist pitch. Not missing by much. It was very borderline. And also a great take by Woods, being down 0-2 in the count.
The pitch, line right to the shortstop. Standing in her tracks was Wyman, and there is one away.
And let's take another look at this swing by Woods. Outer part of the plate, she gets her barrel around it. It hits off the end of the barrel. And for Kylie Wyman at shortstop, that's the kind of ball that knuckles and floats as it's coming at you. So solid job sticking with it.
A lot of times those balls can be harder to catch than what they look like coming off of the bat. And so 1 on, 1 out for Aniston Wright. 0 for 2 today, a strikeout and a pop-up in foul territory. Off speed. Called for a strike on the upper part of the zone.
That's a call that's been a little bit borderline today in the upper part of the zone.
You don't often see off speed upstairs, because if you miss, it is a very dangerous pitch, especially in the heart of the order.
Yeah.
But also sometimes that's why it's effective, because you're not expecting it there.
And for Sanders, she is just pinpoints her pitches so precisely on the corners of the strike zone.
Couple of next level players. Squaring off as Wright swings through the curve. 0-2.
And for Rice, it's making the adjustment of staying above this pitch, not allowing your hands to drop to get underneath it. Hard line drive, hard ground ball. That's the mentality in facing Sanders in this at-bat.
After giving up the leadoff single, Sanders has gotten 0-2 on each of the last 2 hitters. Off the outside corner, retires Rice for the second time today via the strikeout. And there are 2 away in the 6th inning.
And for Sanders, it is just that curveball that has such late bite. Let's take another look at this pitch. It stays out, it ends out. It's the bite that she has off of the outer part of the plate when she's ahead in the count. And for these hitters, both sides of the plate, understanding you're being thrown on the outer part of the plate, scoot up towards the plate, toes on the chalk line, stay on it.
Off speed, lifted out to left field. It is there for Demi Donahoe, so the Wildcats get a leadoff single, but Strand Palmer, as Bentonville holding on to that 1-run lead, they'll go to bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
We are so lucky to count on you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's really terribly kind of you.
We are just, beyond grateful for the support that we get.
I'll always be so grateful for everything you did for me.
This is one thankful count.
During the past year, we've been traversing the natural state with our cinematic drone, from lakes and rivers, waterfalls, scenic byways, mountains, swamps, overlooks, and towering rock formations. This unique documentation of all 4 seasons from all 4 corners of the state with an aerial cinematic perspective will give you, the viewer, an Arkansas adventure like never before, exploring Arkansas from above.
Download the PBS video app or watch online.
1, 2, 3, turn up! It's going up in here! Let's go!
Get your live action photos from the game at myarpbs.org/photos. Grab free downloads, have prints made. These are a great championship keepsake. And should the score hold on the way it is something that Bentonville will want to remember The Tigers leading 1-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning, playing in their 10th state championship game since 2010. First pitch off of the outside corner, called a strike to Taylor Crisp.
And either way the game goes, you'll love a gutsy win over a win that just you win by a landslide.
You're saying from a spectating perspective, right?
Yep.
Upstairs chases 0-2. I was gonna say, as a player, I would always rather lose a lopsided game because I would feel like there was nothing I could do.
See, I'm the opposite. I love the gutsy wins. Like the year that we beat Alabama 1-0, I was like, that is by far the best
when you're on the
memory
winning
I have.
side,
Yeah,
for sure.
Winning side, yes.
The 0-2 to Crisp. Goes back to the rise ball. Laid off as the count now 1-2. This will be pitch number 100 of the game for the freshman Sierra Dots. 1-2, stays outside 2-2.
And for Sierra Dots, she's worked ahead in some counts, she's worked behind in some counts, but when she's been behind in the count, she has been intentional and has made the most of her pitches.
Chris Sanders Stimmus due up for Bentonville here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-2. Fouled back into the banner. This the second softball state championship of the day. Farmington and Pea Ridge played earlier in the day. Farmington capturing that state championship. Of course, saw some Lady Cardinals fans coming back to the field to support Coach Osnes. The 2-2. Called strike 3 on the inside corner.
Huge statement pitch by Sierra Dots, utilizing her rise ball up and in on the hands of Crisp.
4th strikeout of the day for Dots. Brings to the plate Ryan Sanders, who is 0 for 1 with a pop out and a walk.
And to talk about the support for Osnes, once you're a part of a community, you're always going to be a part of that community. Talking about 25 years of coaching for Farmington.
Coach Osnes taking over that Lady Cardinals program back in 1996. Retired for a few years. The athletic director at Har-Ber, Keith Fimple, formerly of North Little Rock, as Sanders swings through the curveball, was able to draw him out of retirement. Spent a couple of years for Coach Osnes playing pickleball, golfing, but he said, you know what, I'm not done coaching yet. In his first year with Har-Ber, has taken them to their first ever state final. 0-2. Off the outside corner.
Speaks volumes to what he is and who he is as a coach. Pickleball golf sounds good, but you're always going to have that itch to get back into coaching.
It's like that competitive drive. It never goes away.
No.
The 1-2. Off the outside corner. They'll check the swing down to first. First base umpire Ray Burwell says no, she did not offer, so the count 2-2. Pitcher on pitcher here in the 6th. Sanders lines it to shallow center, drops for a single. 5th hit of the day for Bentonville as Sanders finds her way on for the 2nd time today.
And for Sanders, just finding a way to get on base. Great piece of hitting on the low outside pitch to drive it into shallow center field. And the excitement by Sanders. This ball is down in the zone. She does a stellar job of driving her backside to get her barrel down to it, and she just stays through this pitch.
Hitting so much is about being able to load that backside. Hitting comes from your legs, from your hips, from the torque that you get. You can see there that was a great example of Sanders letting that get deep in the stance.
And that's the thing is, your power comes from your lower half. Everything works from the ground up.
Lifted deep to center field, but not deep enough. It will stay in the park. A fly out as Wolf collects it for the 2nd out of the inning. So Kylie Wyman responsible for the only run as the courtesy runner for Sanders in for the 2nd time today. That's Dev Wycar, the sophomore. But Wyman responsible for the lone run today. Sacrifice fly in the 4th brought in Marissa Janishi. That is all the offense that we have had today in what has been a tight contest between these two Western foes. Bentonville and Har-Ber finishing second and third in conference play. The top seed was Rogers, who Har-Ber beat 5-4 in the semifinal to make it into this championship game in Conway.
And as we're starting to see Bentonville adjust at the plate, Sierra Dots, the last 2 innings, has adjusted with her pitch combination. She's working her screwball more often than she is the curve away from the hitters.
The 1-1 to Wyman. Fouled back. Wyman certainly hearing your advice about stepping onto the plate. That back foot on the line of the right-hander's batter's box.
She heard me. It's the adjustments as you go, and when you're facing a pitcher that is pounding the outer part of the plate, there's no pulling off of it. There's no rotating off of it. Get up to the plate, let the ball get deep, stay on it. Stay on the pitch.
Wyman does have incredibly fast hands on the inside corner as Dots goes back outside, misses for a 2-2.
And that's one thing that Coach Kent early talked about, is how quick of hands Wyman has, and that she initially was in the 7-hole spot, but because of what she's done offensively has been a staple for this team, she found her way eventually into the top of the lineup.
2-2. Wyman able to check the swing. And Wyman wasn't supposed to be in the starting lineup this year. Bentonville had a horrific injury to their shortstop prior to the season. Dislocated the ankle, broke the fibula, so not available this year. Still with the team, back almost to full health as Wyman takes the ball off of the outside corner. So 2 on with 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Demi Donahoe coming to the plate. That shortstop that was injured, by the way, Violet Nugent, with the team here in Conway.
And Kent early did make the comment that she is the spark plug. She is the passion to this team. So having her not out on the playing field has been a hit. But one of the things that he told his team is play for Violet, play for Violet.
That has been a consistent message throughout the season. A sophomore this year, Nugent will be back for her junior season as Donahoe drops a bunt foul.
One thing about Donahoe in this game is she has displayed all of her tools that she has in the toolbox. She's utilized the power slap, the soft slap. She's shown bunt. I love when a slapper gets in the box and displays all of her tools.
I just think you're thinking of you.
Maybe, no. Not at all. It just makes me so proud to see.
Donahoe 3 for 3 today, 3 singles, but with an 0-2 count with 2 away here in the home half of the 6th inning. Dots goes to the screw but misses low. Donahoe, just a sophomore, another one of those young players on this Bentonville side that are going to be the piece continuing to build on what the Tigers have built. The 1-2, tapped back to Dots, over to first. Throws a bullet in time as Bentonville gets 2 on. No more runners come across. Har-Ber down to their final 3 outs. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Bentonville leading 1-0. You're watching the Centennial Bank State Baseball and Softball Championships on Arkansas PBS Sports.
Arkansas PBS needs to add 2,500 new members by June 30th. If we succeed, we receive a gift of $45,000. We are just over halfway there, but with less than 2 months remaining, we need your help. If you're already a member, thank you. If you're not, your donation moves us one step closer to that $45,000 gift. Visit myarkansaspbs.org and donate today.
What makes a dairy bar different from other food establishments? Here in Arkansas, it describes a whole selection of restaurants we love. It's a location that serves ice cream, burgers, or hot dogs, some having been in existence 50 years or more. Come travel with me on a culinary itinerary of Arkansas dairy bars.
Download the PBS video app or watch online.
We never gonna stop.
If you love seeing these high school sports championships live and also on demand, please consider making a gift to Arkansas PBS today. Go to myarpbs.org/donate or call 800-662-2386 to donate. Top of the 7th inning here at Ferris Field in Conway. Har-Ber trailing Bentonville 1-0. As time getting short for the Wildcats if they want a chance to capture their first ever state title, going up against Ryan Sanders, who has been dominant in the circle today. Wolf, Burris, and Bratcher due up for the Wildcats, a combined 0 for 6 in their previous appearances as Wolf goes after a rise.
And the effectiveness of Ryan Sanders' rise ball, it has such late break, and she is able to throw it on all different planes of the strike zone.
The 1-1 to Wolf, cut on and missed, 1-2. Ryan Sanders, 6 strikeouts on the day, moving her to 200 total for the season. Just off the outside corner with the drop. Har-Ber has 4 hits on the day, but has not been able to advance anyone past second base. 2-2, lifted foul. Wildcats 1 for 8 with runners on base today, 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Meanwhile, Bentonville 5 for 22 on the day. 2-2, taken low for a ball, and if you're Har-Ber, the thing that you need more than anything are base runners.
Absolutely, it is just stringing together, focusing on one base at a time. This is not a game where we're going for the long ball, and only being down by 1 run, it could change the game. But in this kind of moment with Dots, or with Sanders, the way she's been pitching.
Wolf lifts it out to center field, tracking back at the wall, makes the grab! Amber Turner pulls it in for the first out of the inning.
Fire me up, Amber Turner. What a snag at the fence. That is your classic ESPN play. This swing off the bat of Wolf, she does get every piece of this pitch. The way that Amber Turner drop steps, she tracks it all the way to the fence. Grabbing onto the fence, she finds it, extends up to get the grab. What a play.
What a play in the biggest of moments in a game that is decided by a matter of inches. We were a foot away from this game being tied in the top of the 7th inning. Instead, it remains a 1-0 Tigers lead. First pitch strike swung on by Kylie Burris. Pinch hitter standing in for the Wildcats. It is number 10, Belle Haney. Haney, the junior, puts it in play. Back out to center field. Turner is there. This one a little bit easier, and now the Tigers just 1 out away from a state championship.
And Amber Turner is just a ball magnet at the end of this ball game. Very good early jump she gets off of the ball off the bat of Belle Haney. Let's take another look at this. Squared up ball off the bat of Haney. But for Turner, another great read. She takes a sharp angle in.
That brings to the plate Briley Bratcher, who is 0 for 2 today, has flied out to right and flied out to left. First pitch off speed from Sanders. That was 100 on the day for the senior.
And she pulls the string, a pitch that we have not seen utilized often throughout this game.
The 0-1, off speed back to back, and it's 0-2. And now the Wildcats down to their final strike. Sanders, the 0-2. Line down the right field line. Bentonville, they won a title in 2021, 2022. Were stopped in their tracks by Bryant a year ago. This has been the goal for the Tigers since then. The 0-2 just misses on the outside. It could have been an emotional letdown coming into this game for the Tigers after beating Bryant 4-1 in the semifinal. Kent Early said his team, they were locked in and focused. The 1-2 misses on the outside corner. Patient at bat here from Bratchers, the count 2-2.
With the pressure is a privilege. And right now in this moment, being down to your final out, very disciplined at bat by Bratcher.
Sanders looking in, 2-2. Off speed, misses low. The count is full. Just the fourth time, excuse me, that Sanders has run the count full. The payoff misses high and out. The first walk of the day issued by Ryan Sanders, and the Wildcat season still alive.
And for Bratcher, not today, finding a way to get on base, very gritty at bat. That's a moment that could get bigger than what it's supposed to be. She didn't expand the zone. She honed in, took the balls that were balls, and attacked early in the count.
So we will have a pinch runner for the Wildcats. It is number 15, the senior Haven Peterson. Har-Ber trying to work a little two-out magic, some late inning heroics as Jasmine Thomas steps to the plate. Thomas, the freshman, 0 for 2 today, a pair of strikeouts. And the Wildcats with the tying run on first, the go-ahead at the plate. First pitch swinging as Sanders gets ahead with the screwball.
And that screwball that Sanders throws, she clears her hips just enough to get her hand inside to spin that ball across the plate.
The 0-1. Line down the left field line, just foul. That one had trouble on it off of the barrel of the bat. Would it have stayed fair, but instead it is an 0-2 count. So the Tigers once again 1 strike away from being state champions once again.
And Har-Ber throwing their punches in the top of the 7th inning.
The 0-2. Fouled away. Good at bats here by Har-Ber in this top of the 7th inning. They have been battling here against Ryan Sanders.
And for Thomas so far in her at bat, she is battling both sides of the plate as Sanders is attacking her in and out.
The 0-2. Lifted, foul, and out of play as Thomas stays alive. Har-Ber making their first ever state final appearance. They have battled the perennial power, the Bentonville Tigers. The 0-2. Off the outside corner, runner on the move. She is out at second in Bentonville. Once again, the state champions.
And they're dogpiling the Bentonville Tigers. The excitement. What a gutsy win, a 1-0 ball game coming out of a pitcher's duel. That is an emotional win for the Bentonville Tigers.
Bentonville captures yet another state championship. It is their 6th since 2016, behind a gem by the senior Ryan Sanders. 7 strikeouts limited Har-Ber to just 4 hits. And a state championship will be headed back to Northwest Arkansas with Bentonville. We're going to step away here at Arkansas PBS Sports. We will be back with the championship celebration here at Ferris Field. Don't go anywhere.
The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Over 2,500 team members across 17 local electric distribution co-ops, powering homes, farms, and industries somewhere across Arkansas. We are the Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas. Power and people.
Looks like we have some new help in the marketing department.
Action! Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Buick GMC. I think you need to work on your line better. How about you do it? Family-owned, customer-friendly. Family-owned, no friendly. Come see us at Everett Buick GMC, I-30 at Alcoa exit. Buckle up, everybody!
When you choose Conway Regional, you're choosing a healthcare partner rooted in your community. With 9 primary care locations in 5 counties, we believe in building lasting relationships centered on trust and personalized care. Let our family care for yours.
For every moment, for every memory, from that first car, to your first home, to your first child, and all the highs and lows that tomorrow might bring. For everything that matters most to you and your family, there's someone right around the corner dedicated to helping you protect what you love. Your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
Southern Loft is a proud sponsor of Arkansas PBS. It is our mission to tell your story by adding color with our furniture. And that's why Southern Loft is a different kind of furniture store. For more information, go to mysouthernloft.com.
I'll do whatever it takes to protect my family. And part of taking care of them is using a bank that takes care of us. That's why I use Centennial Bank, a strong institution for an uncertain economy. I know them and I trust them. They have a strong financial foundation, which means that my money and our future is never in doubt. Life is busy, and there's plenty of things to worry about. My bank isn't one of them.
Centennial Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
At the new Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health, we are dedicated to providing Arkansans with a brighter future they deserve.
Thanks to UAMS Health, I'm now pain-free, and I'm planning my next big trip.
Vaping costs over $1,500 a year. So if you vape, there goes that new gaming system. Or that new mountain bike. Escape the vape. Learn more about the hazards of vaping at projectpreventar.org.
Attention sports enthusiasts, get ready to be amazed by Summerwood Sports Complex, the new state-of-the-art facility in Bryant. Our facility offers up to 4 courts spread across 2 spacious gyms, conveniently located off Interstate 30 in Bryant. Whether you're a team seeking tournament glory or an individual looking to elevate your skills, Summerwood Sports has got you covered. Discover more about our cutting-edge facility and check availability at summerwoodsports.com.
We never gonna stop.
Champions in 2021 and 2022 add 2024 to the list as the Bentonville Tigers capture the 6A state title 1-0 over the Har-Ber Wildcats and sending what turned out to be a pitcher's duel.
And it was the definition of the classic pitcher's duel. We can see the excitement on Ryan Sanders' face. Just a huge moment and a gutsy win. But let's talk about this game. We had our classic pitcher's duel. Gotta tip your hat to Sierra Dots. And what got things started and the Bentonville Tigers on the board was Kylie Wyman's RBI and the strikeouts. They were just pouring in. 12 strikeouts total between Dots and Sanders. They were both so extremely effective on the mound today. They both were utilizing their curveball, low rise ball mixture. And in the 7th inning, what just solidified and capped the game off was an absolute cannon by Alexis behind the plate to get the runner out. And this is what ended the ball game and sent the Lady Tigers to victory.
An absolute strike from Alexis Lorenich to get the pinch runner at second base. That is how this classic ended between the two Northwest Arkansas foes. All year long, Bentonville carrying the sting of that loss in last year's semifinal with them. They are champions once again as they raise the trophy here on Ferris Field. Coming up next here on Arkansas PBS Sports is the 5A Baseball Championship between Maumelle and Valley View. That one coming up next over at Bear Stadium. So for Sydney Parley and our entire Arkansas PBS crew here in Conway, I'm Dorian Kraft saying so long from Ferris Field at Natalie Schott Stadium, where the final score is Bentonville 1, Har-Ber 0. You've been watching Arkansas PBS Sports.